Hey, what's up, Spike Brewing? My name's Hunter, I'm 31 years old, and I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. So just a little bit about myself. In my professional career, I work in data automation and solutioning. I'm also the founder of a homebrew club in Southern Pines, North Carolina called Southern Hopheads, and I run a Facebook page called Raleigh Homebrew Classifieds in Raleigh, North Carolina to buy, sell, and trade homebrew equipment. I think one of the main reasons why I homebrew is I like to challenge myself to make great beer. If I can at least make drinkable beer, that's awesome. But if I can make beer that's better than the brewery down the street, or a beer that I can go buy at the homebrew store, the craft beer store, then that's a huge success for me. I've been brewing for about 5 years now, as much as I can. This equipment has allowed me to increase productivity. It's allowed me to increase in volume and also do split batches for experimentation. As of right now, I brew about twice a month or even 3 times, just depending on how much space I have for fermentation. My absolute favorite recipe I've ever made is probably a double IPA I made nearly 2 years ago now. It was a recipe loosely based on a 2-hearted ale, and it came in around 7.5%. The reason it was my favorite batch of beer is because it was very well balanced, perfect amount of malt, perfect amount of hop. And to me, that's what 2-hearted is. So without Spike Brewing, I wouldn't be able to make all this beer I've been talking about. Aside from my first stovetop setup, I've always had Spike equipment. If there's one word to describe Spike brewing equipment, I'd say it's quality. Apart from looking awesome, the kettles are top of the line and have been thoughtfully built to fit all of my needs. My favorite features about Spike kettles are the padded handles, rigid construction, and the welded ports. If anyone ever asked me to recommend equipment for a homebrew setup, I've always recommended you guys. So if you're interested in what system I have a single tier system. It's more, I guess it's a REM system, and this whole setup is sort of based on the Brutus 10 build, if you're familiar with that. But everything's pump driven. I have a chiller. I have 3 15-gallon V3 dual welded port kettles from Spike Brewing. I also have a control panel with 2 pit controllers that control the mash temperature and the sparge water temperature. So a typical brew day for me starts off early with a visit to the local supply store to get some ingredients for the brew day. I like to have everything well planned out, measured, beersmith dialed in, and all of the equipment cleaned and ready to go. During the mash, the sparge, and the boil, I always taste things constantly, taste the grain, taste the wort, and also take pH and gravity readings to make sure I can recreate it again if it turns out really good. Then while everything's cooling down, I typically try to finish things up by cooling things down, and then I transfer the wort into a fermenter, which currently is a 7-gallon carboy or one of those 5-gallon buckets, but I'm hoping to get my hands on the Spike Brewing a 7-gallon conical fermenter. As far as any awards I've won, I've actually won every contest I've ever entered, although I've only entered 1 competition. The beer I won with was a tropical IPA, and the prize was for my recipe to be brewed on the brewery's production system and served in their tasting room. Aside from that, my rewards are friends, family, and peers stopping by, enjoying a beer on tap with me, and just letting me know they like the taste of my beer. In my press cut.